Let's talk a little bit about the lesser characters of Bloodborne. Their stories aren't quite as powerful as some of the characters that I've covered in Prepare to Cry, but there are so many fascinating details within their questlines, most of which you probably didn't even come across because these stories are really quite hidden. Here are 10 of them. Let me know if you found them. This is the narrow-minded man who goes to Erden Chapel if you tell him to go to Yasefka's clinic. He does the exact opposite of everything you tell him to do, but I think he's interesting because I'm confident that the exact opposite of everything he says is true.
I'll spare you one nugget of advice. Beware the Lady of the Night. I can see it in her eyes. She deeply resents the young saint. She hears people whisper. She knows what people think of her. Yes. She despises the saint for having what she doesn't.
Truth is, it's the other way around. Adela, the blood saint that you saved from Yahar'gul, appears to despise Ariana the whore. Whenever you talk to Ariana, you can actually see Adela eavesdropping on you from the other side of the chapel. It's quite creepy, actually. Look at her. Anyway, these characters have something in common, and it's that they both offer you their blood in some sort of gratitude for saving them. If you accept Ariana's blood, it reads, "A member of the old healing church would know that her blood is similar indeed to precisely what was once forbidden." Adela watches you accepting Ariana's blood, the jealousy building up inside of her. Imagine, she's watching her savior accept forbidden blood over her own. She has this gratitude to you for saving her, but what you're doing is a great sin in her eyes, and eventually it becomes too much. If you take Ariana's blood more than 3 times before the blood moon, then you explode. Just kidding. Why did I explode there? I don't know the lore on that one. Anyway, I assume it's a glitch, but if you do accept Ariana's blood more than 3 times before the blood moon, then Ariana lies dead, and the blood is on Adela's hands, literally.
I only wish to be of help. Take my blood.
It got me thinking, what could be so wrong with Ariana's blood? What could be so forbidden about it? And now, after working on my last video, which was about Cainhurst, it becomes pretty clear. Ariana wears a noble dress, right? And this is a dress that's worn by the nobles of the old bloodline that traces back to Cainhurst. And Cainhurst is the home to the Vile Bloods, the vampire-like humans that rival the healing church of Yharnam. And as Alfred tells us, the Cainhurst Vile Bloods are born of forbidden blood that was stolen from Yharnam. So, somehow, Ariana is descended from the Vile Bloods, and Adela knows it.
Oh, my sweet hunter. Your blood is tainted. I can't help myself.
This is the Chapel Dweller. He's one of the kindest characters in Bloodborne. You invite everybody to this sanctuary because he asked you to, and he gets an immense sense of pride knowing that he is in some way responsible for the people's lives here.
I've never been any use to anyone, you see. Just happy about it, is all.
But then, you are playing Bloodborne, after all, so all the characters in the chapel begin to die, one by one.
Was it a beast? Or could someone from outside have come in and... I just don't know.
Oh! Blimey, don't scare me like that. On a night like this, I took you for a monster. Oh, thank the stars, you're fairly normal. Well, if you're a hunter, then would you know of any safe havens?
First to die, the narrow-minded man, then the old woman, then Adela, then the Dweller, and finally Ariana. Confront the beggar at any point during all of this, and he transforms.
Have you got a screw loose? Or is it your animal intuition? You hunters have got more blood on your hands. You are a sick puppy. You drink the blood of half the town, and now this! And you talk of beasts! You hunters are the real killers.
It's better to send this guy to Jesper's clinic instead, where he meets a bit more of a celestial fate. In fact, Jesper's clinic, by this point in the game, isn't actually run by the real Jesper anymore. A keen player might have noticed what changes.
Are you out on the hunt? Then I'm very sorry, but I cannot open this door. I am Jesper. The patients here in my clinic must not be exposed to infection. I know that you hunt for us, for our town, but I'm sorry. I pray for your safety.
Oh, well, hello. Splendid. Let me ask you a small kindness. You're soon off to hunt, I presume? Then, if you find any survivors, tell them to seek Jesper's clinic. Upon my Hippocratic oath, if they are yet human, I will look after them. Perhaps even cure them. This sickness, these beasts, they are not to be feared. This time the night is long. I may be trapped here, but I should do something to help. I'll even offer a reward for your cooperation. Tempted?
The real Jesper is this kind-hearted woman who treats a few patients at her clinic and absolutely refuses to open the door, for it would put her patients at risk of catching the scourge. Note how she doesn't want anyone else to enter her clinic. But this all changes once you enter Cathedral Ward, and we never hear from the real Jesper again. If you enter the clinic from behind, you discover what became of the original Jesper, and indeed all the patients of the clinic if you sent them here. The imposter, who is upstairs and garbed in the white of the choir, has been experimenting on all the humans you brought here, somehow transforming them into these celestial beings. Gascoigne's daughter, Adela, Ariana, all mutated by this woman who wants to rise above humanity's beastly stupidity. If you confront her before the blood moon has risen, then you two engage in fighting. But if you confront her when the blood moon is in the sky, then...
God, I'm nauseous. Have you felt this? It's progressing. I can see things. I knew it. I'm different. I'm no beast. Oh, God, it feels awful. But it proves that I'm chosen. Don't you see how they writhe inside my head? It's rather rapturous.
Moving on to a couple of other characters that we found in the early stages of Yharnam, did any of you guys actually follow through with the lonely old woman's questline? She will continue to curse and blame you for everything bad that's happening in Yharnam, but as time goes on and as you kill more bosses, she starts self-medicating herself with sedatives to ward off the despair, and she becomes quite delusional.
Oh, now, have some patience. Mother will make everything better.
If you keep talking to her, then she passes these sedatives on to you, and after accepting 3 times, she'll run out and go outside to look for more sedatives. It's at this point that you can talk to the chapel dweller and discover her fate.
The old girl you sent over, she's dead. Killed, stone dead.
She's murdered outside, next to one of the graves. Moving on, another NPC who meets a really cruel fate is Gilbert, who you probably forgot about. He was the guy at the start in Central Yharnam who offers you advice as you go through the game. He mentions that he's lucky not to be afflicted by the plague of beasts, and that imbibing the old blood granted him time. Unfortunately for him, like many others in Yharnam, his legs are failing him, and he waits out the night of the hunt indoors, offering some advice to passers-by. After killing Gascoigne, he gives you the flame sprayer, which a couple of you might have missed, but did you also know that he turns into a beast after the blood moon rises? Apparently he wasn't as safe as he thought he was. After you've killed Vicar Amelia, these lit windows become occupied by Patches the Spider. Patches returns once again, with sinister motives just like before. He offers you up for sacrifice to his god, and then kicks you off a ledge, all standard stuff, and as usual, when you confront him, he begs your forgiveness. Now, in previous games, after this, after you forgive him for kicking you down a ledge, he usually becomes a merchant, and in Bloodborne you're probably thinking that he doesn't become a merchant. Well, he does, he's just incredibly difficult to find. So he appears in the Chalice dungeons, but he's so difficult to find that I looked for him for like a solid day and I still couldn't find him, so let me know if you do. In the Chalice dungeons, he sells everything that the Bath messengers sell, but at a really high price, which makes absolutely no sense for how difficult he is to find. So there's really no reason to search him out in the Chalice dungeons unless you really need some blood vials or something. Anyway, also in the Chalice dungeons is an item called the Ring of Betrothal. The ring was once used in the Age of the Great Ones, and it was used in a time where marriage was a blood contract, because the ring was given to those who were chosen to bear a special child. So assumedly Queen Yharnam was once the holder of this ring, because she was a woman who bore the child of a Great One. And you can even take this ring to Queen Annalise, who's the ruler of the Vile Bloods. You can even propose to your queen, even though she shuts you down.
Speak not those words. We have little need of a consort. Such a path would belike lead to further ruin. Thou art dear to us. We would see no harm befall thee.
And that's it. Those are 10 character quest lines that are slightly hard to follow. The thing is though, I didn't really want this video to be super long, so I didn't include all of their dialogue, but in the description are links to 2 places. One is to a channel called Moonlight Butterfly, where you can find all the dialogue in Bloodborne recorded and categorized and uploaded for you to enjoy. The other location is simply the Dialogue Wiki, so you can learn about how to follow these quest lines for yourself. I recommend you check out both of these places if you want to learn more. And thanks for watching, guys. As a side note, I'm kind of thinking of moving away from Bloodborne in the next few videos. I ran this poll on Twitter, and it showed me that not as many followers as I thought actually own Bloodborne, so maybe we'll move back to Dark Souls 1 and 2 and some Demon Souls and branch out a little bit more. So thanks for watching, guys, anyway, and I'll see you in the next one.